Welcome to Narratives and Nightcaps, Books, Beverages, and Author Conversations. We are back for a reading recap. Hey, everybody.
Hey guys.
Hello. It's so good to see all of you.
I
You
know.
too. I look forward to these recordings. This is always fun. My TBR grows by like 1,000, but that's okay.
Um, Anyone listening to any episodes this month, your TBR is going to grow because we have this with so many books to talk about that we've all read just on our own, and like 3 amazing author interviews for the month of March. So, yeah, your TBR is growing for sure this month.
Sounds like a great problem to have. I'm all for it.
Honestly. Honestly, it truly is. It truly is. So let's go ahead and just jump right in if that's good with everybody. So much, and I've like kind of glanced at some of the things you all have been reading, and I can't wait to talk about some of them. So I'll kick things off. As I mentioned to you all, have definitely wanted to be not in reality. So I'm going to talk about 2 books that are perfect for escapism. The first one is The Bridge Kingdom by Danielle L. Jensen. Have you guys read anything of hers before?
No, I
Okay.
haven't heard of
Uh-uh.
her.
Oh my gosh, she's so good. So I read A Fate Inked in Blood by her last year, which is like a Viking
I have it on
fantasy.
my bookshelf. My
Oh,
apologies. So there we go.
um, have you read it or is it just on your bookshelf?
It's just on
Okay.
my bookshelf.
Well, so Megan knows this, but like I'm obsessed with just about everything Viking. I like love it. So the Bridge Kingdom has been on my list for a while by her because I really like to Fate Inked in Blood, so I wanted to read more by Danielle L. Jensen, and The Bridge Kingdom did not disappoint. So let me tell you what it's about. Okay, Lara has trained her entire life for one thing, to bring down the Bridge Kingdom. All she knows is that King Aaron, the leader of the Bridge Kingdom, is her enemy, and while they live lavishly in riches, being the key to trade around the world, surrounding kingdoms, including Lara's, are deprived. After training in isolation for years, Lara is sent as his bride, fulfilling a negotiation from 15 years ago to bridge peace between the kingdoms. Lara is prepared to learn the secrets of the Bridge Kingdom to ultimately bring it to its knees. But as she's exposed to this new place that so few visit and she begins to understand their way of life, Lara learns that her years of training may not have included the truth, and she begins to question, quote, whether she's the hero or the villain. It is so good. Okay.
All right.
Not
Okay.
to give
Yes.
away how I feel about it, but like I was obsessed from chapter 1. It is action packed, like right from the get-go. Honestly, like in a way I didn't expect with the first scene. Like I was like, oh, okay, wow. We're just gonna get right in and got it. No problem. That's how this is gonna go. But I was hooked. Overall, like I loved Lara's depth and range as a character and just this like really, really unique world that is the Bridge Kingdom and like all of the surrounding kingdoms. I thought it was really, really cool. The banter with King Aaron was like A plus for sure if you like the enemies to lovers trope. Um, Although it was relatively easy to see where this was going, I don't mean that in a negative way. Um, but it's there. I still couldn't get enough of like this just really like fast-paced adventure. It's less of like not magic and everything per se, more of just like a totally different world, big adventure. But as I said, I could kind of see where it was going, so I even stopped with like 30 pages left because I wanted to order book 2 because I did not want to have to wait to be able to start the second one because I was like, all
When
right,
does
I know
book 2 come out?
Yeah.
it's out. Like,
Oh, okay.
Oh,
yeah,
nice.
it's out. So actually there's like, so I believe there's going to be 6 total. Um, but it's in sets of 2. So Lara and King Aaron are like the focus for books 1 and book 2, and then a different set of characters, but in the same world are the focus for 3 and 4. Um,
Interesting.
I want to say there's like a novella thrown in there. I'm not an expert yet, but I will be.
Yet. Stay tuned for
Um,
future reading recaps.
yes,
Yes.
Yeah, well, I almost did that for one of my reading recaps because I read The Rebel Witch, which was book 2 in the duology that just came out for The Crimson Moth. I almost did that, but then I was like, I don't want to spoil anything for the first one. So,
Oh, yeah, because that was following was that Heartless Hunter? Is
yeah,
that right? Okay, I thought
yeah.
so. Okay.
Which this is a quote on that note for that book. This is a quote from someone else's review on Goodreads. I did not make it up, but I fully support this. Um, the Heartless Hunter walked so that the Rebel Witch could run. Like,
Oh,
full stop. That
Okay.
is someone else's review, and
there
I
you go.
100% support that and lift that review up a lot.
I love
Okay.
that.
Okay.
Okay. Very cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's the Bridge Kingdom. Highly recommend. It's been a lot of fun, and I'm super pumped to keep going on that. Okay, sticking with my theme, but heading even deeper into the realm of fantasy. Um, I for one of our author interviews that is coming out in the month of March, actually before this episode airs, but I still want to talk about her book again, is The Land of Frost by Whitney Welsh Gibbs. Um, because also I was obsessed with this book. So it's so good. So I wanted it just deserves space to be talked about more than once.
I love
Okay.
those books.
I
Yes.
know. I
So
like
good.
not kidding. I like thought about it for days after I finished it. And I just talked to Whitney and it was such a fun conversation and just like love her story and her passion and everything that went into this. So I'm so excited for more people to read her book and it comes out this month and if you at all like fantasy or adventure anything like it needs to be on your list. So again, The Land of Frost by Whitney Welsh Gibbs. On Princess Maeve Morgan's wedding day, her world is turned entirely upside down. A coup infiltrates the castle, killing her father, who's the king, mother, brother, who is the heir, and her fiance. So on her wedding day, like everyone is killed. Maeve herself is captured. She's stripped of her magic and left for dead. But two palace workers end up rescuing her and bringing her back from the brink of death, in which then she's like, has this vow for vengeance. Um, no one, though, can know that Maeve is alive or like who she is as she heads to the infamous Bascobar prison to train with the fairy warden. But of course, in an isolated prison filled with men who have committed various crimes and lived there for years or even decades, Maeve wonders whether she'll survive her time there to ultimately accomplish revenge, which she's going because, like, she's lost all her magic. She herself has lived, like, really isolated. She has no real knowledge of, like, the world and needs to train in order to figure out what happened. And so there's also this mystery element to it. One prisoner in particular shows hatred for Maeve from the start, and everyone warns her of just how dangerous he is. And while she trains and tries to stay alive, Maeve begins to learn some surprising truths about her upbringing, her father's rule, magic, and the world she didn't really know beforehand. It is so
This
good.
sounds so good.
It is, you
Does
guys,
sound very
I
good.
could not put it down. Like, could not put it down. And this is, if you listen to the interview with Whitney, like, it full honesty, I mean, I told her, I was like, the hardest part was the fact that we were so fortunate to get this as an arc, and now I, like, am so desperate for the second one.
When does her next one come out?
Um, you have to listen to the episode.
Sorry. Okay then.
I
Way
share
to
no
tee that
secrets.
up. That was
Yeah,
well done,
I
ladies.
share
Well to
no
tee that
secrets.
up.
Um But, I'll let Whit if you listen to the episode, Whitney does talk about it and everything and, like, the plans for uh, but it's so good, and even just, like, the story behind so she's being published under Azala Press, and, like, the story behind how she of, like, the publisher and when they read the book is really, really, like, sweet, but I had a very similar reaction as to, like, people at Azala Press when they first read this because you're like, "Oh my gosh, like, I need more." Okay, so on that note, I just cannot wait for more people to read this because I am so desperate to talk to people about it. The world that Whitney created for the Steel Citadel series, which is going to be a 4-book series, is incredibly well developed, and her writing just does a really wonderful job of immersing you in it without it being overwhelming. It is one of those books that at the beginning you have a glossary, which I love because then I don't pronounce things improperly. So I like that aspect, but I know sometimes like you look at those and you're like, "Oh my gosh, is this going to be overwhelming?" It's not at all because your Maeve herself has been like so isolated and just like lived in her little bubble that you are exploring the world like through her eyes and learning it as she is learning it too, which is really, really cool and then never overwhelming as a reader. But it's fast paced, it's action packed, like the Bridge Kingdom. This is, I mean, chapter one is this coup. So, like, it kicks off right away. And then you have just an awesome slow burn with it. So, I said, like, if you're a fan of Fourth Wing, if you're a fan of Throne of Glass, even Game of Thrones,
Okay.
like Game of Thrones, the setting in particular, like definitely I was like, "Ooh, that's giving me some GOT vibes." You definitely have to read this one, and it is available on March 18th.
I have
Very
to say,
cool.
Brie, when you were describing that, it's like the fact that this whole coup starts in chapter one, I was getting Crescent City vibes from like the
Yeah.
first 50 pages of just getting slammed as a reader into this like awful situation. And then it sounds like I'm getting kind of from Blood and Ash vibes of like you're exploring the world through a character that's been so like you said, right? Like kept behind closed doors.
Yeah,
It sounds
honestly,
great.
I mean, both of them, The Land of Frost and The Bridge Kingdom, it was kind of ironic. Both of the female main characters are people that have, like, lived in isolation intentionally, like, people have put them there, same thing from Blood and Ash, and then, like, they have really no idea what the real world is like, but as a reader, you get to, like, explore it and learn
Experience it.
more about it, and that was one thing Whitney and I talked about. She was like, "I'm
Yeah.
just not a big fan of, like, a 200-page dump of information to, like, get you to understand the world." She was like, "I didn't wanna do that." But it is you can just tell, like, there's so much more to this land that she has created, and, like, we're just getting introduced to it, so that makes me really excited for, like, more to come, and, of course, it ends on, like, a cliffhanger, obviously, so that just makes me more excited that I'm like, "I need the next one so badly." Yeah, so highly recommend, for this month, and then check out the episode too, because Whitney was a really, really lovely conversation.
Was
So
this her,
excited.
debut novel, or has she published
Oh,
others?
so she actually self-published before this one, which is really interesting and fun to like talk to her about. So she self-published 3 other novels in different genres too, previously. And then so we talk a little bit about like this one, and I mean, she said she was like, "I mean, from this one, like, I just kind of knew that, like, I wanted to, explore traditional publishing for it." But even then, like, it happened really quickly for her, with her querying, and she just said that, like, she'd sent it out for queries, and like, it could be a long time before you hear anything. If you hear anything, like, there's always that chance that you're just not gonna hear anything, and it was, like, a really quick relatively quick turnaround. She, like, got a message from someone on Instagram, and she goes, like, "Who is this?" And, like, started to look into it, and it ended up being someone from Azala Press, and they were like, "I, like, threw my Kindle across the room when I, like, got to the"
Oh
and
my
they're like
gosh.
yeah, so, just really, like, really cool story, and she definitely has a unique experience being that she's, like, self-published and then also now is being traditionally published.
Yeah,
And sounds like she's having a really good experience with Azala Press too, that they're, like, really supportive of their authors, which is awesome.
That's
that's amazing.
great.
I love
Yeah.
that.
So, okay, up
Okay.
next.
It's me, Megan. Okay, so I did not read anything fantasy.
What?
Read. Shocker.
Shocking. Megan.
We
Oh
are
my gosh.
so shocked.
Megan coming in hard with the truth bomb.
What is
Yes,
this
I
brand
know.
new information?
Dear listener, I don't read fantasy. Just kidding. No, I
Light
read
fantasy. Light fantasy. You do.
light fantasy, light fantasy.
Okay,
So I
okay.
read Book Lovers by Emily Henry. I don't know how many people have read this. I know Brie has, hearts, hearts, but I don't know if anybody else. Yes, Jordan. Okay, great. And
I
then
haven't read this one, but it is absolutely on my TBR.
oh yes, okay.
I've read Emily Henry, and I love Emily Henry.
Yes, yes. So Brie actually, this was another book she got me for Christmas, so I just plowed through all of those. So Book Lovers is about a New York-based author agent. She's the agent of authors. I didn't know how else to write that. But she's this powerhouse named Nora Stevens who quite literally grew up over books. Like she lived over a bookstore for a period of time, but also just loves to read and fell in love with books. I also wrote Dream because that would be amazing. She is known for her kind of like hardcore, get it done exterior with an ever constant list of pros and cons and a very small pool for dating. It's also mentioned multiple times that she's 32, and they like kind of make it seem like, oh, I'm getting old. And I'm like, bitch, I'm 32. So, like, maybe just pump the brakes, Emily, a little bit there. Emily Henry, not you, Emily.
No, no, I'm with you, Megan, fully. I think I've seen this comment a couple of times, like, because you talk about, I've read fantasy this time, but that a lot of the main female characters are like 18, 19, 20, or something like that in these, even romance novels. And it's
Yes.
like, come on, where's the 30 something that finds love? And
Right.
this sounds
But
like
see,
it's
but like
it.
when they do put the 30 something, it's like, oh, I mean, it's getting kind of late in life. And I'm like, what the hell? It's
Shut the
okay.
fuck up. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so her pregnant sister, who's younger than her, approaches Nora with this chance to get away to the setting of one of their favorite novels. Sunshine Falls is the name of this town in, I believe it's, I don't know where it is actually, like New Jersey or
What a
something.
name. I'm
Yeah,
loving this.
Sunshine Falls, what a name. It's very like Hallmarky at first. I mean, the name is
Yeah.
Hallmarky. For a whole month and a list of to-dos, the sisters tackle Sunshine Falls, which a little bit of a spoiler, it kind of falls short of expectation, but you guys can read that in the book. Only to discover that one of Nora's work rivals has also made his appearance in this exact same town. What are the odds? Not only that, he lives there. Charlie Lostra is the last person that Nora wants to see or expects to see in this town, but eventually the two of them are thrown together to edit a novel for the famed author that put the town of Sunshine Falls on the map. As they as they
My
oh
gosh.
my gosh, as they get to know each other more, they both realize that their whole relationship might not ever work. Like working relationship, intimate relationship, it just might not ever come together, but the draw is always there. When Nora's time is up to head back to New York City, she discovers that her sister has been keeping this huge secret from her and that Charlie is also not planning to return to the city, which was kind of originally his intention. Trying to navigate all of these findings, Nora has to find it within herself to let go of a lifelong need to plan everything and protect and open herself up to the possibilities that the world outside of books is offering her. What a
I
recap.
love this. And I would love to, just based off your recap, Megan, I would love to see this in a movie. This sounds like it would be teed up as like a fabulous, feel good, well cast
It's
show.
already on Hallmark. It's called Sunshine Falls.
I
Yeah,
was-
there you go.
well, on that note,
I mean, is this one slated for adaptation? Because so many of her books are.
Books
I know.
are.
yeah,
I don't know. I know people we meet on vacation.
I
What?
know because I'm like obsessed with the casting for
stalking.
it.
I really want to read that one. I actually later this month plan on reading Beach Read, and I want to say
So good.
Beach Read was slated as well. I've got to believe each one of hers has been optioned thus far. I
Hold on,
can't.
I'll tell you.
Google quick.
Reset. I'm googling.
Yes, Tango to adapt Emily Henry's Book Lovers into movie.
There
Emily
you go.
Henry
Yay.
adapting funny story novel into feature film. People
There
Who
you
Meet on
go.
Vacation, we
There
already
it
talked
is.
about that one.
She's just so good.
I love it.
I'm
It's too
Happy
easy.
Place.
Like, I feel like you can visualize the characters as you're reading the book. Like, you already know who's gonna be cast, you know?
There you
Yeah.
go. I love
That's what
her.
Marie
Fun.
and I used
Happy
to do that.
Place.
I don't know if you guys ever heard of, like, or heard our old episodes, but we used to, like, cast
Mhm.
who
Yep.
would who
Yep.
would play which part.
I love it. I love it. I love it. So was this
Um
5 stars for you, Megan? What'd you
Yeah,
what would you
so yes, my review. And I literally was telling Brie about this yesterday because I talked to her on the phone. But like, I just love how freaking cute this book was. It's very classic Emily Henry, like the character banter, the wittiness, all of the charm. It's all there. But I was telling Brie too. It's as much as it's like a very classic romance, and you have like your enemies to lovers kind of trope, but there's no like big falling out, which I really like because I feel like I hate when a romance novel like gets to this climax and then there's this huge fight and then they have to split up and then that's what makes them realize that they loved each other the whole time. And I love that this book didn't have that. Like it was just very, very honest from the get-go, and it was very like open communication and just so refreshing to read because Nora is such a headstrong character that I feel like if there was that kind of trope, it just wouldn't have played well with who she was developed to be. So I appreciated that for sure. Um, I will say I do put in some like kind of trigger warnings. There is discussion of like loss of a parent and then having to care for ailing parents. So I don't know if that's upsetting to any readers, but that is covered. It's actually kind of a pretty big theme throughout the whole book. So take care while reading. But overall, it was a great read. I loved going through it. So glad it's going to be adapted because of course it should be. But yeah, I would say if not a full 5 stars, at minimum of 4.5. Like, we're there.
There you go.
It's a great book.
I'm
Yeah, it
excited.
is.
Yeah, I have it on my
Yeah.
Kindle. I'm excited to read it. I want to be an Emily Henry completist. I really do. I want to read all of her stuff.
I'm convinced she can do no wrong.
I'm convinced the same of Allie Hazelwood. I'm gonna be 100% honest. I love her.
I don't think I've read a single Allie Hazelwood book.
Well, now
Hold
we gotta
on.
go look her
Well,
up.
there you go.
Hold on. Hold
She
that
wrote
thought.
the Love
Well, I
Hypothesis.
know what she wrote.
Oh,
I
oh, oh, oh. You're like, I just don't know if I've read it.
Like, I know.
have audiobooked one Allie Hazelwood book,
Which one?
Below Zero.
Okay. Okay. Gotcha.
It's
Was it good? Is that like a deep cut? Do we know about it?
um I'm I audiobooked it in the car a long time ago. It was entertaining. It
Okay.
was one of those books though that like you're listening to it and then you like come to a stop and you have to turn it down because you're like a little bit worried about what if anyone like hears it.
Hey, listen,
Yeah.
we're on our way back from
Am
church
I-
today, and my husband is so, so sweet. He literally was like, do you have like an audiobook or something you need to listen to on our way home? And I was like, that's really nice of you. I don't really know if I want to listen to what I am listening to.
I love it. That's
Let
funny.
So not an audiobook, but you just reminded me. So when Jared and I were traveling over the holidays, um, there he was reading Kingdom of Ash at the time, and we're in the car and he was driving, and I don't remember like somehow it came up, and he was like, I just want to like keep reading it, and I was like, oh, do you want me to read to you? And he was like, well, if you're offering, then yeah, because I like did not think he would say yes. Oh, and I had laryngitis at the time, so I also like couldn't really talk very well, and or I was recovering.
Offered to
I was
read.
like recovering from laryngitis, so like my voice is so I was like, oh well, I mean, if you do want me to like, I can try. I was like, I can't promise I'll like be able to read a lot, but I can try. I like open it up and, like, there's not a ton of, like, sexual material in that almost 1,000-page book, like, there's not a lot, and I just happened to open to, like, a scene, and he was like, "Oh, so you're gonna read me the sex scene?" And I was like, "Can you be mature about this? Like, do you want me to read you this or not?"
Because your voice is, like, probably
Like, yeah,
cracking
like the
and,
husky,
like
sexy
yeah,
voice.
exactly. I just was like
I was like,
Listen, it's like when Phoebe sang
yes,
better because she had her cold
Yes.
on
yeah,
Friends, remember? You know? It sounds sexier, it sounds better.
it does increase the comedic factor. I would
it
say
does.
that the yes, for
It
sure.
does.
Yeah.
So, and
Was
we
he
didn't have
was he
time.
mature about it? Did you get through it, or was he
We
just,
did.
like, dying? Okay.
No, we got through it. We got through it and we like moved past it into like a couple other chapters. And then he said later, he's like, you actually did a really good job. I was like, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank
I've
you.
known how to read for a while, thanks.
Yeah. That's when you just go, "Thank you. I'll be here all week. You're
Yeah.
Yeah,
welcome."
yeah, yeah, and you're welcome.
Right. And you're welcome.
That's awesome.
Megan, what's your next one?
My second book is Every Last Secret by A.R. Tor. This is my second A.R. Tor book. My first one was really good. I'm just not remembering the name, but that's okay. It was really good, so just take my word for it. But this one, so the recap is, and I can show you I have my books too, if you guys want to look at
Ooh,
pictures.
yes, I was just
Um,
pulling it up and it's on Kindle Unlimited. Look at that.
Perfect. So everything is picture perfect for the Winthrops. They have an estate that overlooks the ocean. They have a large staff at their home. Kat Winthrop, the woman of the home, does not have to lift a finger, and they have a thriving business with her husband William at the helm. Everything is perfect until the new neighbors move in. Nina Ryder and her husband Matt are the new kids in a town where everyone knows everyone. So just very like there's a lot of references to like people looking out of their windows with binoculars, like spying on you, figuring out what you're doing. They're just very nosy neighbor because everyone's rich and knows what everybody's doing. Nina is now part of the Winthrop Corporation and is eager not only to get into the business, but also to get into William's pants. One of those books. Not
Okay.
one to play dumb, the wife, Kat, notices right away Nina's intentions, or at least has some suspicions of what her intentions are with her husband, but she isn't necessarily one to rock the boat, at least not yet. Nina's moves are always to gain her more authority in the world and equally more money, but she will go as far as she needs to get a leg up, even if that means obsessing over William and Kat. A toxic friendship between the two women escalates to a tipping point, with both women not willing to give up their lives of seeming perfection.
Wow.
Dun dun
Ooh.
dun.
Okay.
Yes. So, my review. This is my second A.R. Tor novel, as I mentioned, and this is like right up my alley of books that I love reading. There's a lot of suspense. There's a lot of This is it's a dual perspective from each woman as well, which is really
Okay.
fun. So you can see like this is
Fun.
Kat's thoughts, this is Nina's thoughts. And then actually um the prologue at wait, which one's first? Epilogue, prologue.
Oh, look.
Thank you.
Prologue.
The epilogue, the end, is from William's perspective, the husband at the very end. He has like one quick little blip, and you're just like, what the fuck just happened? So it's a really good book. I wrote in that it kind of reminds me a lot of a combination of The Last Mrs. Parrish by Liv Constantine and The Housemaid by Frida McFadden. Just like, I don't know if you guys have read either of those books, but just a lot of like, yes, thanks, Brie. A lot of just I don't know, just this buildup, this huge buildup of suspense that you're like, I don't know who's really telling the truth, who's not, like, where is this taking you? Um, and so I said, without giving any spoilers other than those two novels to compare it to, just take that as you will.
Mhm.
This book definitely hits nerves when the characters start to reveal themselves, and not like fun tingly nerves, like the irritating, like what the hell is going on nerves. And there are some points that you also feel really bad for the people that are kind of trapped in the fallout between these two women. So you find that no one is really safe or exempt from their behavior in the overall plot. But I just thought it was a fun book and it was really good
No,
read.
it sounds amazing.
It's really quick. Like her books, they're not super long. I think they're just shy of 300 pages. So
Mhm.
you can get through it pretty quickly. I don't have as much luxury reading time as I used to, but it's a really fast read, and I think it would be a really quick um, audible listen too. So definitely, this was like a 5 star for me for sure.
I
I've
just put
just
it on my Kindle.
There
I
you go.
love it.
Yeah, I have to say, Megan, I haven't read any AR Tour books, but this sounds fascinating.
Yes.
Mhm.
As I said, my TBR is that grows like by 500 books every time we
Yes.
talk. So
Well,
this
I'm
is
not
the
great.
first one, I think it was our first recap that we did, Bree, with just you and I talked about the first one, because it's a very like, she clearly has a very similar vein of writing that she likes to get into, but it's I don't know, it's just a really easy read, and I was actually introduced to her novels through another friend of mine who gifted me the first book for Christmas and was like, "This is just awesome." So, I really enjoyed reading it.
I love that. You'll
Nice.
have to report back as you read more from her. I'm, like, looking on Amazon right now, and, like, a lot of hers are available on Kindle Unlimited, and you're right, like, honestly, in my opinion, when they're less than 300 pages too, like, that is, like, oh, I
That's a
that's a
sweet
dream.
spot.
It
Yeah.
is
The other book
it's
that
very
you read
good.
is called The Good Lie.
Thank you. The Good
There
Lie.
you go.
Thank you.
Okay, cool. Cool,
Okay, I've got
cool.
to ask because we just had this with Emily Henry. So, Megan, is Tour one of those authors that like you'll pick up the book, no questions asked?
I feel like I'm getting there. Like, having now read
Okay.
2 of them, I feel like if I
Yeah.
see, because and I'm the same way with Frida McFadden. I feel like at this point I've
Okay.
read, like, her whole Housemaid series, and I've read a couple other, like, one-offs of hers, and I'm just like, when I see those names, I'm probably gonna grab it.
You're like, no questions asked.
Yeah.
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 Okay.
I love it.
Nice.
I love it.
I like it. That is so great. Okay. I am super excited about the books I'm going to bring to you guys. So, talking about authors that we love, I know I said that I'm working on, I'd like to be an Emily Henry completist. I love Allie Hazelwood. She can do no wrong. Beyond Allie Hazelwood, beyond Emily Henry for me is Abby Jimenez.
Ooh.
100%.
Oh.
So let me bring to you, my friends, Part of Your World by Abby Jimenez. And I would start singing for you if I could, but I need another glass of wine to do that. Anyway, after a wild bet, gourmet grilled cheese sandwich, and cuddles with a baby goat, Alexis Montgomery has had her world turned upside down. The cause? One Daniel Grant, a ridiculously hot carpenter who's 10 years younger than her, and as casual as they come. The complete opposite of our sophisticated city girl, Alexis. And yet their chemistry is undeniable. While her ultra wealthy parents want her to carry on the family legacy of world renowned surgeons, Alexis doesn't need glory or fame. She's fine with being a mere ER doctor. And every minute she spends with Daniel and the tight-knit town where he lives, she's discovering just what's really important. Yet letting their relationship become anything more than a short-term fling would mean turning her back on her family and giving up the opportunity to help thousands of people. Bringing Daniel into her world is impossible, and yet she can't just give up the joy she's found with him either. With so many differences between them, how can Alexis possibly choose between her world and his? Um, 5 stars, hands down. Just about every book with a baby goat is going to be 5 stars.
I love
For
that that's the yardstick, Jordan. I have to say, I absolutely love that that's the yardstick and touche.
I'm just saying. No, honestly, I will love and just gobble up anything Abby Jimenez writes. I don't know if anybody here has read any Abby Jimenez at all.
So I haven't yet, but she has been an author that like every single book I'm like, "Oh, I want to read that. Oh, I want to read that.
Yeah.
Oh, I want to read like every single one." And I just haven't for the XYZ reason, but like I've wanted to read her.
It's witty, it's charming, it is so much fun. I absolutely loved this book, and she is just an auto author for me. I think she has another book coming out next month, I want to say, and I'm super excited for it. So, this book I will hand out. I mean, A little bit of trigger warning. This isn't eh, I think that Abby Jimenez handles it very well. Uh, oh, there is a little bit of a background. Alexis kind of comes out of a bit of an abusive relationship emotionally, and so there's some things to unpack in that quite a bit. But for me, the character development and just the strong connections in general as far as like what Alexis and Daniel go through, I related really well. Listener, just to give you some context, I mean, I grew up in the suburbs. I'm a city slicker as they come. And my husband very much grew up in rural America with less than 5,000 people in his hometown. And it, bringing our worlds together, like just some of like the laughs and like the just the connections, the way that this isn't spoiling anything either, but just like the way that Daniel teaches her different things, changing tires, fixing things up around the house, different things like that, just empowering her in a lot of ways, in ways that she didn't really need when she was growing up. That's probably also what endeared me to this book in a lot of ways, because I related to it in my own marriage and in my own relationship. So I I will forever love anything that Abby Jimenez writes, because she just makes me really happy. So
Some really good authors. I say, Jordan, between talk about Abby Jimenez, Ali Hazelwood has been mentioned, Emily Henry. Like, this is an all-star list of authors, I think, across the board that, I mean, any one of us, you see these books on the shelves and it's like, grab, yes, please. No questions asked.
so good. So if you're looking for something light and fun, and kind of like Megan, we were talking about AR, is it AR or AJ Tori?
AR. Yeah. AR is
AR
more.
Tori. Sh- Her books are really digestible. Abby Jimenez's books are really digestible. Less than like 300, 350, 400 pages. Like they, so they're not, and you just, you flow through it so fast. So anyway, that's my first one.
You convinced me.
Well, and here's what's great. So there is like a series. It's not a series, but it is a series at the same time. You can read them out of order, and I read them out of order with Part of Your World. Basically what it is it all takes place in the same town. So what's cool is as you read different books,
Interesting.
different characters pop in that like are like Easter eggs for you of like, oh, have you read this couple's story? And oh, there's this couple's story over here. And I read this series literally like backwards, to be honest, because Part of Your World is actually the first one. And I read the two others that are in this same world all together. But anyway, I digress. So good. My other book is absolutely going to shift gears. So buckle up, because we're going to talk about All the Colors of the Dark by Chris Whitaker.
This
Oh,
has
yes.
been on my TBR for so flippin' long. I am so excited to hear your thoughts, Jordan, on this one.
Okay. Here's the setup. 1875 is a time of change in America. The Vietnam War is ending. Muhammad Ali is fighting Joe Frazier. And in the small town of Montclair, Missouri, girls are disappearing. When the daughter of a wealthy family is targeted, the most unlikely hero emerges. His name is Patch, a local boy with one eye, who saves the girl and in doing so leaves heartache in his wake. Patch and those who love him soon discover the line between triumph and tragedy has never been finer. And their search for answers will lead them to truths that could mean that could mean losing one another. A missing person, a mystery, a serial killer thriller, a love story, a unique twist on each. Chris Whitaker has written a novel about what lurks in the shadows of obsession and the blinding light of hope. Okay, so this book will grip you from start to finish. I'm gonna tell you, it would have been 5 stars for me. It dropped about a star mainly for the length. And yes, here and there, it did kind of feel like there was fluff sprinkled in, if you will, for lack of a better term, that was unnecessary. That's just this reader's opinion. And trigger warning, Emily, I know you're about to bring into the world baby number 2. Not really sure you want to read about missing children at the moment,
You
but
know it's funny you say that, Jordan, because like, as I'm putting my TBR together for when I'm out with, with baby, I'm like, nothing sad, nothing about missing children. So I'm like, give me all the Emily Henry, give me all the Abby Jimenez, like,
this
give me
would
all
be
of
a
the happy
great
endings.
this would be a great time for Abby Jimenez and for
Yep.
Emily Henry.
Yep.
100%.
That's where
But
I'm going.
when you're ready, come back to it.
Yeah.
Um, I've never read anything like it. I have never read anything like it. The color, the imagery, the writing, the characters, everything was absolutely beautiful. Montclair is fictional, to give you some context, but my husband, being a Midwest boy, being from Missouri, I was reading this, and as I was reading it, I would talk to him about it, and I said, I feel like I am back in your hometown. I know where I am. I can visualize this beautifully. Ironically enough, this is a British author. I literally Googled because I was like, he's got to be from the Midwest. 100% he's got, like, there's no way with as detailed as he is. He's got to be from the Midwest. No, like he's from the UK. It's very funny.
Impressive.
Very impressive. I was like, he had to have visited the Ozarks. He had to have gone into the Midwest. Like he's done his research. And oh gosh, it is a book that will stay with you. So while I bring out those trigger warnings, obviously, uh, I will say it is a worthwhile read. And here's the cool thing, while it is super long, these chapters are literally what I like to call Cheeto chapters. Because you could just have just one more. Let me show you. Like, this is one page. One page, there's a chapter. There's the next one.
I
And
like
then
those. Yeah.
let's move on. Oh, there's the next.
Jordan, I just want to say I love the term Cheeto chapter, and I think just generally on this podcast we should adopt the term Cheeto
Yes.
chapter because I love
I
that.
I
That
got
is
it from the Currently Reading podcast, and I'll tell you, when I can gobble up them
spot on.
Cheeto chapters,
Spot on.
let me tell you one author that hasn't caught on to the idea of Cheeto chapters, and that's Sarah J. Maas. I'm just saying. But or
You know,
Rebecca Yarros, for that
in
matter.
that vein, though, like Emily Henry chapters are super freaking long too.
That's
thought.
fair.
'Cause I'm just like, okay,
Yeah.
are we there? Are we there? Are we
I'm-
there? No, I'm not quite yet. Okay. Because
I'm
I like to
currently
read, and
reading.
I only say that because I like to read before bed, and so I'm like, okay,
Yes.
I just need, like, if I just finish this
One
chapter
more
before I go to sleep, and I can't ever because they're so long.
I
It's
know.
so funny. That's the struggle. So I'm currently reading Jodi Picoult's new book, By Any Other Name, which is fabulous. Absolutely fabulous. We'll mention it
Okay,
on another.
bumping that one up. Bumping that
Yeah.
one up.
But the chapters are like, I don't know what the opposite of a Cheeto chapter would be, like a full course entree meal chapter, whatever you want to call that. Like,
Five
It's a
course,
dining-
a 5-course meal.
yeah,
It's a dining experience.
it is an
Yes.
experience because she flips between two different point of views. But I'm with you, Megan. I usually read like at night, right? Like before I go to bed. And so one more chapter is like 50 pages. I have to really commit to
Yes.
to that one.
Yes, and you have to, like, not fall asleep, and then you also have to, like, not
Right.
piss off your husband for having on the light the whole time.
The light.
See, Megan, this is where the Kindle comes in handy because I
Yes,
love
that's
my
true.
little Kindle, and I don't have to worry about leaving the light on
Yep.
anymore. And
Yep.
it tracks your reading speed, so it tells you like how long you have left to finish the
Oh.
chapter and how long you have left to finish the book.
See, the problem though with
Then
that,
you can brace yourself.
that's
Yeah.
exactly what was gonna
That's
say.
yes.
That's the problem, is I personally am just a competitive person by nature, and so when I see that, like, it's gonna tell me that I am gonna finish this chapter in 15 minutes, I'll be like, "I'll make it 13. Just you watch. I'll make it 13."
It says 10, give me 5.
Give me 5. Just is not healthy. Not at all.
There are more unhealthy things. I think there are things that could be worse. I'm just throwing it
My
out.
sister does it with, I don't know, I'll throw this out to, with, like, GPS. Do you guys ever do that when you put an address in and you're driving and it's like, ETA is 3:30 or something, and you're like, "I'll make it 3:25."
Yeah.
Like, legally,
Watch me.
safely,
Watch
all
this.
following all the rules of the road, but,
Emily says, "Watch me."
Yeah.
yeah, that's the problem.
You'll text us when baby arrives and you're on your way to the hospital. ETA says, "This."
There's a Taylor Swift on that, "Hi, I'm the problem," right?
Yes.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
me. It's me.
Oh, there's my 2 books. Highly, highly recommend.
So
Let's hear
good.
yours,
That's so
Emily.
good.
I have to say, I just, my TBR has now got, 6 more books, that have been added to it. But my 2, were, kind of polar opposites. I'd say I had a foot in each camp. I do have them here. So Megan, I did the same thing, that I've got the physical copies, right, for this
Mhm,
month.
mhm.
I would be remiss though if I did not talk about Onyx Storm.
Oh, I
For
didn't
Somebody
put it
had
in
to.
there because I knew someone would, and I'm
I
ready.
I started off with dragon riders and we ended up with horse racing. There's a
Yeah.
theme, I don't know, somewhere in there, right? Um, but Onyx Storm, and this is spoiler free, so I have kept the recap, the Goodreads recap, very sterile in the sense that we're not giving anything away. But for those who maybe are not familiar with Onyx Storm, it is the third book in the Imperium series by Rebecca Yarros. And here's the official recap. And then I know Bree and Jordan, I think you've both finished it too. So we can dive in briefly, spoiler free. So after nearly 18 months at Basgiath War College, Violet Sorrengail knows there's no more time for lessons, no more time for uncertainty, because the battle has truly begun. Dun dun dun. And with enemies closing in from outside their walls and within their ranks, it's impossible to know who to trust. Now, Violet must journey beyond the failing Aretian wards to seek allies from unfamiliar lands to stand with Navarre. The trip will test every bit of her wit, luck, and strength, but she will do anything to save what she loves: her dragons, her family, her home, and him. Should be a capital H, in my opinion, there, but
Should be.
him. Period. Even if it means keeping a secret so big it could destroy everything. They need an army. They need power. They need magic. And they need the one thing only Violet can find: the truth. But a storm is coming, and not everyone can survive its wrath.
I didn't.
I d
I
Bree
laughed.
said, "Not me. Nope,
Not
not me."
me. No, ma'am. I did not survive. Nope. Nope. Um, Yeah. I gotta say, this I think me myself included, but a lot of people were waiting like a very long time for the
A
release of
very,
this
very
book.
long time.
And I was left with more questions than answers, which pissed me off. Because the fourth book hasn't even been started, so that we've all heard. Patience is also not one of my virtues. I'll just put that out there. So I am
I'm
just like
so good at being patient. What are you talking.
shocked, right? So overall, I would say that it was a 4.5 out of 5 stars for me. I think Fourth Wing is still like 5 out of 5, near and dear to my heart, up above, like, absolutely for me. It didn't come close to touching Fourth Wing, but loved it, like, for what it brought. And I think I liked, couldn't put it down. I mean, like the other two, I was like racing through it. It was one of those where I'm going, why do I have a day job again? Can I just read all day and like
Oh my
get
gosh,
through this
isn't that the
story?
dream?
Right. I liked their quest this time. Again, spoiler free. It says it in the that they go on a quest. I did like the quest because it did break up the what kind of felt a little monotonous in the first two books of
It
the
gave more
same.
meat to the story, it felt
Yeah,
like.
yeah, and it brought more to it, I think. And Darna is just, I love her, and that was just, we'll leave it there. I just love her. I went deep into fan theories about the next two books. So, or like about the next couple that are coming and, like, what's ahead because of the cliffhanger on this is, like, the cliffhanger of all cliffhangers. Brie, I also did not survive the end
We'll
that.
talk we'll talk offline. We'll take this to the text thread. We'll take
And like I said, I have more questions than answers, but loved it. Highly recommend.
Now, where did it rank for you above or below Iron Flame?
I put Fourth Wing, Onyx Storm, Iron Flame.
Same. I
Same.
liked it
Okay.
better than Iron
Yeah.
Flame.
Yeah.
I was not while the ending left me frustrated from the sense of, like, questions unanswered, it for whatever reason, it was not as frustrating an ending as the second book was, in my opinion, but that's just me.
Yeah, I think, I liked Violet more in this book. This is not
Yes.
gonna give away I think she's really, like, coming into her own as we've talked about a lot of strong or books with strong female characters, right, just across the board,
Right.
fantasy or not, and I think this is the one where I actually truly I liked Violet, but I really liked Violet in this book. Like, she just sort of came into her own power and strength and leadership and all of the above, and I was like, "Go get him. Go get him." And I'll leave it at that because otherwise I'm gonna give the whole thing away.
No, thank you for bringing it to the recap because I think it was obviously, it's
Deserves a
this
spot.
season and it's the
Deserves a
time.
spot.
It deserves a spot. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
And Megan's like, "Can we move on now?"
Well,
Yeah.
no, I was just gonna say, like, the way my social media blew up when this book came out, literally everyone I knew, everyone's story, everyone's reels, everyone's posts was Onyx
Onyx
Storm, and I'm
Storm.
just like, I'm low key like, maybe I am missing out.
You are. You
Honestly,
are. You are.
You are. And
if
You
there
are.
was a fantasy series for you to get into, all 3 of us are gonna say it's either Fourth Wing
Fourth Wing.
or A Court of Thorns and Roses, 100%. But
Well,
I
let me ask this, Megan, how do you feel about Harry Potter?
Oh, I feel like Brie and I have also had this discussion, and we've also
Okay.
discussed are you like a fantasy watcher or a fantasy reader? Like, can you,
Yeah.
because I feel like I can watch it. Like, I can watch the Harry Potter movies, I can watch Game of Thrones, that's all good.
Yeah.
I feel like it's different being a reader of that. However, I will say, I have read Harry Potter, I have read Twilight, I have read these series. Were they my, like, end all be all? Absolutely not. But I have read them. They're out there.
Fair. I think because I would put this my 2 cents that I think Fourth Wing and the whole series is closer to like if you liked Harry Potter, you're not really a fantasy reader, but
Mhm.
you read Harry Potter and you liked like the story for what it was. Not
yeah,
your maybe not your favorite, but liked it
Sure.
for what it was. I think Fourth Wing is closer to that than ACOTAR.
I would agree.
Yeah. Like I
Mhm.
think you could get into it's like Harry Potter, but on steroids with dragons and for adult people, not
Okay.
children.
See,
Yeah.
so
No.
Yeah.
my sister is like, she has read the Harry Potter series cover to cover, front to back. I don't even know how many times. Like, she like
I love Harry
now as an
Potter.
adult will like, oh, it's I'm gonna start reading it again, and I'm like, that's like the 50th time you've read it. Like, find another
That's
series. But I feel
yes.
like to me, I bought her ACOTAR because Brie highly recommended it. I'm not gonna necessarily read it, but
Sure.
I'll have to
Yeah.
get her opinion on that. But now, like, that you're saying that comparison, I almost wonder if I should suggest this other series to her as well.
You should. And I would kind of be
Yeah.
surprised if she hadn't, but you should. And honestly, if you haven't already started reading it, now is a great time because you don't have to suffer like the rest of us have. Like, there's 3
I
books out,
kid you
so,
not.
like,
I yeah.
it's I need to figure out how to, like, have more control over that. Like, when a book starts and blows up, I just need to be like, "You know what?
Imma
I'm gonna
give it
sit
I'll
some
tight.
start
time.
you in
I'm
about
sit
4
tight.
years."
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Because
4 years
no.
from now, you and
Okay.
me, we're gonna have a time, and it's
Yeah.
So
gonna be
to
great.
Bree's point, Megan, I went on a reading retreat with a group of girlfriends of mine in celebration of the Onyx Storm release. And there were 2 of the 12 of us that had not finished Iron Flame, the second book in the series. And they finished Iron Flame the night that we all arrived and were able to dive right into
Not
Onyx
fair.
Storm.
That's
Not
Not
fair.
smart.
fair, because there were those of us that had waited a year and a half,
Iron
and
Iron
we
Flame,
we
I will
all
like
looked at them and we were like, "You should be so grateful. You can go right into book 3."
those are the people that will survive this world because like good I'm so proud of
Should
them and
say.
I'm so jealous. I when I finished Iron Flame, I like Jared was playing video games. I was physically sweating. I started taking my clothes off and I was like yelling. I was like I was so upset. I was so I was so upset. I was also like what is going on? Like, I was so flustered and I was like, but I have absolutely no idea what is happening right now. I was just like, I was totally I didn't, and then I stomped around the house and like Jared was literally, he was like playing video games. I remember him being like, sorry guys, like Bree just finished a book and something's happening.
It's
I was,
just
I was so upset. Like, so the
Mm.
fact that there are people out there that can just read Iron Flame and then be like, you know what? That was that, but I can now just move on and have that I'm so happy for them because the rest of us, like, have suffered for an extended period of
an
time.
extended period of time.
And now we will suffer again because
Well,
book 4 has not even begun.
I was gonna say, I mean,
The yeah, the
I
only
don't
thing
even know. I'm gonna be, like,
yeah,
50 by the time that this book is finished this series is finished.
We'll give it to Rebecca Yarros. I think she's a little better than, other authors that we love. I'm convinced I'll be 50 when book 6 of
And
ACOTAR comes out. Okay.
yes, I will also say, like, I do fully support her being like, "Hey, like, this is my job, but I'm also not gonna, like, sacrifice myself for these books."
For sure.
I fully support that. I selfishly just want the full the full
I know.
story.
I know. It's so
Um,
hard.
but I
It's so
fully
hard.
support that, and I think it's awesome that she's, like, put her foot down because I do think guaranteed we don't know the full story, but, like, it does seem like she was put under a lot of pressure for Iron Flame, and that contributed to Iron Flame being that book, and, like,
But
on it
listen, she now has the clout to fight for herself and to be like, listen, this is what I need. I was listening to an interview with her where Rebecca Yarros literally said, listen, here's why I haven't started book 4. My kids have summer. They have
yeah,
summer from
yep,
school, and I'd like to spend time with my kids.
yeah. I fully support it.
$100%.
I think it's awesome, and I do think, like, Onyx Storm and maybe this is my opinion, but to me, like, the writing was really good, the storytelling was really, really good, like, just the overall, like, plan from beginning to end of that book was really, really
Yeah,
well done, and I was very nervous, like, I think I may have said that to you guys. I was super nervous because there was just this, like, undertone of deep sadness the whole book, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is gonna crush me. This is gonna crush me, like, I don't know if I can do it." And I despite the fact that I'm like, "Oh my gosh, that ending," I also kinda like it. Like, I'm
I
here
had to
for
sit
it.
with it. You know that we've all had, like, book hangover. This one gave me a book hangover, and I had to sit with that ending for a bit and, like, take a detour and yeah, yeah, which is where I jumped into I couldn't go to another fantasy after Onyx Storm. I needed, like, I don't know, palate cleanse. I need something different to, like, sit with that for
Abby
a
Jimenez.
minute.
Abby
Yeah, see?
Jimenez. I
There you
tell you
go.
right now.
Yeah.
Alright, tell us about Horse.
Well, that
Yes.
was my
So
palate cleanser.
I cannot wait. Okay.
Oh my gosh, I would highly, highly recommend. This is a 5 out of 5 stars for me. Um, it I'll read the official, like, summary. But just trigger warning because it does come up is, it does touch on topics of racism and slavery and the Civil War and just that part of history and the implications of that in today's society in the context of horse racing. So just trigger warning for readers that it does address it pretty blatantly, if it head on in the story. But horse is about a pig. No, I'm kidding. It's about a horse.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
What
I
what
could have
about
gotten
the
you.
baby goat, Emily?
I could have gotten you. It's about a baby goat called Horse.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding. I almost adopted yeah, we almost adopted a cat from a shelter because its name was Lobster. So I think it could have been fitting. But, anyway, so here's the official recap of Horse by Geraldine Brooks. Um, a discarded painting in a junk pile, a skeleton in an attic, and the greatest racehorse in American history. From these strands, a Pulitzer Prize winning winner braids a sweeping story of spirit, obsession, and injustice across American history. So it follows three different timelines. So the horse itself is Kentucky 1850s. An enslaved groom named Jarrett and a bay foal forge a bond of understanding that will carry the horse to record setting victories across the South. When the nation erupts in civil war, a young artist who has made his name on paintings of the racehorse takes up arms for the Union. On a perilous night, he reunites with the stallion and his groom, very far from the glamour of any racetrack. I want to go like dun dun dun. The next time, like scene is New York City in the 1950s, and it follows Martha Jackson, a gallery owner celebrated for taking risks on edgy contemporary painters, but she becomes obsessed with a 19th century equestrian oil painting of mysterious origin and what it means for her family's like history. And then the third like scene that it jumps between is Washington D.C. 2019. Jess, a Smithsonian scientist from Australia, and Theo, a Nigerian American art historian, find themselves unexpectedly connected through their shared interest in the horse. One studying the stallion's bones for clues to his power and endurance, the other uncovering the lost history of the unsung black horsemen who were critical to his racing success. All of this is based on a true story of a thoroughbred named Lexington. I had no idea about any of this history or Lexington's like ability, what he brought to horse racing. He was one of the like still his times today, I guess, aren't beaten. Like he's like still holds records across racetracks today. And if you've ever seen
Amazing.
movies like Seabiscuit or Secretariat, or any of those
I
movies,
love them.
some I love them too. Some of those horses, like Preakness and others that they race against in those movies, are direct descendants of Lexington. Like he's like think like
Oh,
Godfather racing horse, basically, right? For American racing.
that's
Um,
amazing.
so I loved it. Like I said, 5 out of 5 stars. I love, and I wrote this in my kind of review. If you like Seabiscuit, like the movies, right? Black Beauty, Secretariat, anything in that vein, you'll love this book. Um, it was a part of American history that I also was not aware of or knew much about. Um, so 5 out of 5 stars. I think I was amazed by how much Lexington and his groom Jarrett really go through, like throughout their story. I mean, Jarrett was there when Lexington is born and is pretty much does not leave his horse's side, like throughout his entire life. And they have this special bond. So it also speaks to, those books where it's the human animal, connection,
Yeah.
which is just so sweet. And they end up, um, there's part of the Civil War they're escaping together, and it's just that connection that they have. It was beautiful to read, very well written. And Geraldine Brooks does an excellent job linking the three. So, like, each of the chapters goes between those three time periods, and you're kind of jumping around to get a full picture of the story. But she does it seamlessly. So you don't feel like you're like being stepped back or it's confusing as a reader. Um, the ending I did not see coming. Talk about Brie like having a fit when you get to the end of a book. Did not see it. I thought this was going to be like I mean, you kind of 1850 is a long time. The horse is not alive today. So you sort of that walking into the book, right? But I did not see the ending coming. Utterly shocked, threw it across the room, was sobbing, but
No,
worth it. But
no.
worth it. Worth it.
I
I
don't
will
know what to
absolutely
do.
This I can't read animal books because of that.
and
Like,
it's
it just makes me so sad.
it's not because of the horse. I will say it's because
Well,
of the
okay,
other
okay.
characters. That's yeah, there's no um I'll say that they don't really there's not like animal cruelty or anything like that that would be and here yeah, no, nothing there. But the other characters and how their stories ended up after having gone through kind of their experience with the horse. Um, I'll leave it there. No spoilers. Highly recommend, though. Would definitely suggest reading it. It's a quick read. It's only like 300 or so or something
Wow.
pages.
That's fast, yeah.
Um, yeah, super fast, not that thick.
And I bet with the different time frames too, it, like, makes it really quick.
Goes super fast.
Oh,
Yeah. And so yeah, that was Horse. I would
I got, like,
highly,
chills
highly
while you were
recommend.
describing it,
Me
so I
too.
definitely want to
oh,
read it.
I need to. I know. I absolutely need to as well. Agreed.
It was such a nice, like, I have been down this really deep fantasy adventure, which has been great and I've loved it. It was so nice to, like, switch it up. And Horse was kind of the perfect story to get lost in the story, lost in what was happening with Lexington and everybody, but just something a little bit different. So yeah, highly
Wow.
Perfect.
recommend.
That's awesome.
Ugh,
I
that
love
was a
getting
great
on
one to end
Goodreads,
with.
like, while we're
Thanks.
doing this and seeing like all of us like add these books.
Yes,
You're
I literally
saying
got
Like,
the, "Oh,
oh,
Brie added
Emily
that."
did
Yeah.
this, Megan added. Oh, I just see
I
everybody
love
added.
it.
It's
Yeah,
so cool. I
See,
love
that's just
that.
proof that we don't just say like, "Oh, it's on my TBR." Like, it is physically being
on
added
my
to my
TV.
list.
Yes.
Oh, 100%. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
They actually added. So that was an awesome, like, just variety of books again. So little something for everybody.
Mhm.
Um, cool. I always look forward to these. Um, Emily, I think you're checking out for the next
For
one.
a brief portion, I will
Yep.
say, yeah, I will be taking a step back for March and April because I am expecting baby number two. But I will be reading a lot because I will have time to do so. So I'll be keeping up and following along, and then I'll jump back in May.
We
Perfect.
can't wait for you to fill us in on what you're reading too when you
Yes,
come
well,
back.
and please, because I am legitimately putting together like postpartum reading list and TV show watching list and movies. So from you guys or any listeners, please send me recommendations. I prefer happy endings, love stories, something that's not going to make me completely lose it would be great. And,
I'm gonna
but
say
sent,
go for the missing children.
yeah,
I'm
I'm sure top of my list, Jordan. I think that's a good one.
Go for the baby goat. Go for the
Yeah,
baby.
pretty good.
Yeah, well, we're so excited for you. Can't wait to have you back for you to catch us
Thanks.
up on everything that
Yeah.
you've read.
Yes.
And then the rest of this month, Jordan and I are going to be talking about The Crown of Gilded Bones by Jennifer Armentrout. And so that'll be our last episode talking about the books from the From Blood and Ash series. And then we're going to be switching gears. So if you've read it or read along, tune into that series special this month. And then we also have 3 author interviews for this month, which,
That is
yeah,
so exciting.
it is. It's also partially my fault because one of them was supposed to be last month. So, um,
It's
oopsies.
fine. We're good. It's fine.
But she was like such an angel when I needed to change my schedule. I try very, very hard not to do because I like want to be so respectful of everybody's time. But we have 3 author interviews coming up. I already mentioned Whitney is one of our March authors. Then let's see. Jane Tara, Tilda is Visible. Which is right here. She's gonna be on the
Okay.
podcast.
Nice.
And
Yes. Yes.
the other book is by my bed because I'm reading it. So, but it's Eliza Kennedy, whose book Lucky Night comes out at the end of this month. So those are kind of all the episodes we have going on. March is busy in a good
Yes.
way.
In a
In
good
a
way.
fantastic
Oh,
way.
and then
I
in
love
other
it.
news, this is my Nightingale book that I ordered, and it is,
It
Beautiful.
is
Beautiful.
absolutely beautiful.
isn't it stunning? I know.
Okay,
I'm
can
obsessed with it.
can we end this episode with a really, really funny story related to Kristen Hanna? Funny, but also like totally fate. So I was meeting up with a girlfriend of mine this morning for coffee before church, and originally I was supposed to buy her coffee because it was her birthday. Well, she ended up arriving to the coffee shop before I got there, so she got her own coffee. And I was like, what the heck? Why would you do that? I was going to get your coffee for your birthday. Well, we're talking about what we're reading. And then she goes, "One of my girlfriends was telling me about this Vietnam War book." And I was like, "The Women, Kristen Hanna?" And she goes, "Yes." Whip my phone out. I go, "What's your email address for your Kindle?" There you go. There's your birthday gift. And I bought her the Kindle version of The Women because I was like, "Ma'am, you didn't let me get you coffee, so let me get you a book."
Yes.
So there
That's
That's
you go. But
awesome.
it is super, super pretty. I love that you got the sprayed edges. That's like totally a thing now for the Nightingale and so many other books. It's beautiful.
Well, one, I'm a huge sucker for a sprayed edge. It's bad. Two, the Nightingale is, I hate saying this because it comes out the wrong way. It is one of my favorite books
There's nothing wrong with that. Why do you feel like that comes out the wrong way?
because it's a
because it is
really
very sad.
sad, dark book.
I know, but like, I
Um,
the
like
ending is still just so dang beautiful.
it
Yeah.
is one of the most beautiful stories. It is absolutely tragic, and it is a horrible, horrible time period that I wish we would all learn from. All
Yeah.
that said, the second they were like, this is the 10th edition, I looked at Jared and I was like, I like have to have that. I mean, this is like a non-negotiable. I have to have that. And he was like, "Well, you already have like multiple copies of multiple books, so like, is this really gonna stop you?" And I was like, "Look, I practice a lot of self-control when it comes to sprayed edges, like but I was like, this one, I've read that 4 times. Like I was like, I have to have that because if I've read it 4 times, there's gonna be a 5th, and I want to do it in the pretty book.
I love that, Brie. I love that for you.
That's yeah. So, well, I'm glad that that gave me an opportunity to show that off because I'm not that I did anything, but I'm really proud of it.
I love it. I feel like we should end on like, and with that note, always buy the sprayed edge.
Always, always buy the sprayed edge. You love
And when
that
you
book?
have that opportunity to cuddle with the baby goat, listen, cuddle with the baby goat.
There you go.
And on that note, cheers.
Cheers,
Cheers.
my
Cheers.
friends.